Hello, today I'll read you another book from this wonderful The Peter Rabbit Library collection. It is written by Beatrix Potter and illustrated by her. Previously we read The Tale of Peter Rabbit, The Tale of Squirrel Nutkin, The Tower of Gloucester, The Tale of Benjamin Bunny, The Tale of Two Bad Mice, The Tale of Miss Winkle, The Tale of Mr. Jeremy Fisher, and today we'll read The Tale of Tom Kitten. If you want to read the other books, if you want to see how I was reading the other books, they are available on my YouTube channel. The Tale of Tom Kitten by Beatrix Potter, based on the original authorized edition. First, they scrabbled their faces. This one is Moppet. The Tale of Tom Kitten by Beatrix Potter. Once upon a time, there were three little kittens, and their names were Mittens, Tom, Kitten, and Moppet. They had dear little fur coats, their own, and they scrabbled about the doorstep and played in the dust. But one day, their mother and Miss Tabitha twitched and expressed and defiance to tea, and so she fetched the kittens indoors to wash and dress them before the fine company arrived. First, she scrabbled their faces. This one is Moppet. So here we have Moppet. Then brushed their fur. This one is Mittens. So this one's Mittens. Then she combed their tails and whiskers. This one is Tom Kitten. Tom was very naughty and he scratched. So this one is Tom Kitten. Miss Tabitha dressed Moppet and Mittens to clean penny pockets and turners, and she took the shorts of elegant, uncomfortable clothes out of the chest drawers in order to dress up her son Thomas. Tom Kitten was very fat, and he had grown several buttons burst off. His mother sewed them on again. When 3 kittens were ready, Miss Tabitha unwise and turned them out into the garden to be out way while she made a hot butter toast. Now keep your forks clean, children. You must walk on your high legs. Keep away from the dirty H-pit and from Sally Henny Penny and from the piggy style of puddle ducks. Moppet and Mittens walked down the garden path unsteadily. Presently they trod upon their pinafores and felt on their noses. When they stood up, there were several green sneers. Let us climb up the rocky seat on the garden wall, said Moppet. They turned their pinforks back to the fork and went up with a skip and a jump. Moppet's white tuckers fell down into the road. Tom Kitten was quite unable to jump when he was walking upon his hind legs in trousers. He came up the rocky by a dark was breaking, and his ferns and sessions and buttons right and left. He all in pieces when he reached the top of the wall. Moppet and Mittens tried to pull him together. His fat fall off, and the rest of his buttons burst. When they were in difficulties, there was a pit pat puddle. There was a pit pat paddle pat, and 3 puddle ducks came along the yard with a road marching on. Behind the other was going a goose steps. Pit pat paddle pat, pit pat waddle pat. So Tom, and here is a hard decision. So I guess this one is Muppet and this one is Mittens, but I guess so. They stopped and stood in a row and stared up at the kittens. They had very small eyes and looked surprised. Then the 2 puddle ducks, Rebecca and Jemina Puddle Duck, picked up the hat and tuckers and put them on. Mittens laughed so that she fell off the wall. Moppet and Tom descended after her. The pinafores, all rest of Tom's clothes, came off on the way down. "Come," Mr. Drake Puddle Duck said. "Moppet, come up, help us to dress him. Come and button up Tom." Mr. Drake Puddle Duck advanced in a slow sideway manner and picked up the various articles. But he put himself on by himself. They felt him even worse than Tom Kitten. "It's a very fine morning," said Mr. Drake Puddle Duck. And Jemina and Rebecca Puddle Duck set off the road, and they're keeping a step, pit pat, paddle, pit pat, waddle pat. When Tabitha Twitchtat came down the garden, she found her kittens on the wall with no clothes on. She pulled off the wall and snatched them and took them back to the house. "My friends will arrive in a minute. You are not fit to be seen. I am affronted," said Tabitha Tin Switch. Then she sent them upstairs, and I am sorry to say she told her friends that they were in bed with the measles, which was not true. Quite contrary, that they were not in bed, not in the least. Somehow there were very extraordinary noises overhead, which was disturbed of a distantly, and the rasp of tea party. And that some day I shall have to make another larger book to tell you more about Tom Kitten. As for puddle ducks, they went into the pond The clothes all came off directly because there were no buttons. And Miss Drake, Puddle Duck, and Jemima and Rebecca have been looking for them ever since. And we finished with this book for today. And here we've got the Peter Rabbit emblem, which is on this book. Hope you enjoyed how I was reading, and see you on another Peter Rabbit book. Bye!